Students of this group. My today's lecture is about applications of Gauss's law. We are discussing second and third application of Gauss's law in today's lecture. You have read about first application of Gauss's law in previous lecture. So now move towards the applications of Gauss's law. Okay, coming towards the topic, which is electric field intensity due to an infinite sheet of charge. In this figure, look at it. This is just a portion of an infinite sheet of charge on which positive charges are evenly and uniformly equally distributed over the entire surface. So here the uniform surface charge density, this is represented by sigma, and this uniform surface charge density, this is equal to charge per unit area. Whenever we calculate charge per unit area, this is equal to surface charge density and represented by the term sigma. So, okay, in this figure, only a finite part of an infinite sheet is given. Here, you can see that this is just a portion of the whole sheet. In this case, we wish to find the electric field intensity at a point P, which is at some distance from this sheet of charge. This look at the position of my cursor, the point P. This point P is at a distance. ये उस शीट पे नहीं है बट ये उस शीट से कुछ डिस्टेंस पर है. Similarly, on the opposite side of this sheet, there is another. The place this charge, this point P, from symmetrical point of view, this in front side, or you can say that on left hand side, if the like on left hand side the point P, which is apparent here, the distance at which it is from this sheet, the other point P, which is at the same distance, this point P is also at the same distance from this sheet of charge. So we wish to find the electric field density at a point P, which is at some distance from this a finite part of an infinite sheet of charge. For this purpose, we must construct Gaussian surface that contain point P. This Gaussian surface should be constructed in such a way that it must contain point P. So for this purpose, we construct Gaussian surface in the form of a cylinder. The flat surfaces of the cylinder contain point P. These are the flat surfaces. Flat surfaces in the form of a circle. These flat surfaces contain point P. This is P, and on another side this point is P prime, which is also at the same distance from the sheet like the point P. This point P is not very far away from this sheet, close to the sheet, not on the sheet, at some distance from the sheet, but close to the sheet. The distance is not very large, but the distance is small. These are the end faces. This is first end face, and on the other side this one is the second end face, and these are the curved walls of the cylinder. Concentrate on the position or location of my cursor. These are the curved walls of the cylinder. This is first end face, and this is second end plate of the cylinder or end face of the cylinder. Look at the electric field vector. The direction of the electric field vector or electrical intensity is perpendicular. This is perpendicular to this flat end face. And also on the other side, this is perpendicular to the flat end face, and it is in outward direction because electric field lines are radiating outward of the positive charge. This is the positive charge. These electric field lines are coming out of the positive charge. That's why this electric field vector is in this direction, which is away from this sheet of charge. You can also see that the direction of the electric field vector is away from this sheet of charge, and it is parallel to the flat end faces. As E is right angled, is at right angle to the flat end faces, so electric field lines will pass through it. Electric field lines will pass through this flattened face, first flattened face, and also through the second flattened face. As this electric field intensity vector is parallel to the curved surface, to the curved wall, this one is the curved wall, it is parallel to the curved wall. through this curved part, no electric field line is passing because electric field vector is parallel to it. No field line is perpendicular to it, so no field line is passing through it. Only through the perpendicular surfaces or the surfaces which are at right angle to the electric field lines, the electric field lines will pass through that surface. Now coming to the concept of flux, electric flux. So there will be a flux through this flattened phase and through another flattened phase, and the flux is a product of EA means electric field intensity and area. So for this first flattened phase, electric flux is EA, and for second flattened phase, electric flux is this EA. So total flux through the flat end surfaces or flat end faces, this is equal to 2EA. This is through the two flattened faces of the closed cylindrical surface, where A is the area of A. This one is the area of first flattened face and another area A. This is second flattened face. Both the areas are same and electric field intensity is same through these flattened faces because their area is same. Now, according to this, as a charge enclosed by the closed surfaces, this is closed Gaussian surface, so the charge enclosed by it Q is equal to sigma A. Because sigma is equal to Q over A, so Q is equal to sigma A. Therefore, according to Gauss's law, phi E electric flux is equal to 1 over epsilon naught into total charge into charge enclosed by the closed surface. As Q is equal to sigma A, so electric flux is equal to 1 over epsilon naught into sigma A. As electric flux is equal to 2EA, so 2EA is equal to 1 over epsilon naught into sigma A, and finally A is cancelled by this A, and this will take the form E is equal to sigma over 2 epsilon naught. In vector form, E is equal to sigma over 2 epsilon naught into R unit vector, where R unit vector is unit vector normal to the sheet directed away from it. This one is this R unit vector. This is a normal to the sheet which is directed away from it because for positive charges, electric field lines are drawn outward. These are coming out of the sheet. Now the third application of Gauss's law. This is electric intensity or electric field intensity between two oppositely charged metal plates. In this figure, there are two oppositely charged metal plates which are separated by a vacuum between them. The spacing between them or the separation between them is very small. They are close to each other, not in contact with each other, but close to each other. These are metal plates. They have an infinite extent, but in this figure only a portion of the infinite extent of these metal plates is given. So there is a vacuum between these metal plates. So under these conditions, the charges are essentially concentrated on the inner surfaces of the plate. This one is this plate, upper plate, which is just orange red, or which is orange red in color. So this is given plus Q charge. Charge is concentrated on the inner surface of the plate, not on the outer but on the inner surface of the plate. On the bottom plate, which is given a blue color, in this is given minus Q charge because all the negative charges are concentrated on the inner surface of this plate, not on the outer surface but on the inner surface, this surface. So look at the direction of the electric field line. These electric field lines are directed from positively charged plate to the negatively charged plate, this direction. So the field lines which originate on positive charges on the inner surface of one plate terminate on negative charges on the inner surface of the other plate. Okay, the charges are uniformly distributed on the inner surfaces of the plates in the form of a sheet of charge of surface density sigma. Here, in this figure, as the charges are placed or are concentrated on the inner surface of the plate, so there will be a surface charge density which is represented by sigma. Sigma is equal to Q over A, charge per unit area, and also surface charge density will be calculated for negatively charged plates or plate also, in which negative charges are placed on the inner surface of the plate. A is the area of the plate and Q is the amount of the charge or either of the plates. calculate electric field intensity. Imagine now a Gaussian surface is constructed or is formed in the form of a hollow box with its top inside the upper plate and its bottom in the space between the plates as shown in figure 12.20. Here, the dotted rectangular box. This represents the Gaussian surface. Its one face is inside the positively charged metal plate, whereas the three sides, these are in the vacuum. This side, this perpendicular, this side, this one vertical side, these two vertical sides. Some portion is within this negatively charged plate, whereas the larger portion is in the vacuum between the plates, and the bottom face, this dotted face, this is in the space between the two oppositely charged plates. Here you can see that these field lines are parallel to the vertical sides of the box. So there is no electric flux through the vertical sides of the box. Also, the side which is inside the positively charged plate, also there is no flux through it because it is inside the positively charged plate. The electric field lines are these are normal to or at right angles to the bottom face of this Gaussian surface. So there will be an electric flux through this face, not through this vertical face, and also not through this vertical face, and not through the upper face, just through the bottom face, because electric field lines are passing through it, and these electric field lines are at right angles to this face, so there will be an electric flux through this bottom face. Okay, as there is no field inside the metal plate, so we say that there is no flux through the side which is inside the metal plate. Flux through this side is zero, and flux also through this side is zero. This is inside the plate, as there is no flux or field line inside it, so electric flux is also zero. Only electric flux is present through this phase which is in the space between the two plates. So the charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface is sigma A. Applying Gauss's law, electric flux is equal to 1 over epsilon naught into sigma A, and electric flux is only passing through one phase, so it is given as EA is equal to 1 over epsilon naught into sigma A. This is equal, so E is equal to A is cancelled by A, so E is equal to sigma over epsilon naught. The field intensity is the same at all the points between the plates because charges are uniformly distributed over the entire region of the plate, so the electric field intensity is same at all points between the plates. So, and the direction of the field is from positive to negative because electric field lines originate from positive charge and end on negative charge. And further, the direction of the field is from positive to negative plate because unit positive charge anywhere between the plates would be repelled from the positive charge. If there is a unit positive charge, if there is a unit positive charge between these plates, this unit positive charge will be repelled by the positive plate and directed towards the negative plate. Further, anywhere between the plates would be repelled and directed to the negative plate, and these forces are in the same direction. So in vector form, E is equal to sigma over epsilon naught R, where R is the unit vector directed from positive to negative plate. This is all about today's topic.